Welcome to the program. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Tea Party. I want to talk to you about the VA. In fact, let's start there. Let's start with our veterans. The imprisonment for Marine Andrew Tamarisi is still in, what is it, day, I can't read the deal, 58, day 58. Congratulations on that. 58 days. And what is the president's phrase that he always likes to give?
We will not rest. We're doing everything we can.
Yeah, but he's also, isn't he outraged too?
No, he's
yes,
outraged.
he is. He's madder than hell.
He's madder than hell.
He's madder than hell. Of course he is. Of course he is. He's madder than hell, and he's outraged, and he's going to get to the bottom of this. Of course, we're not going to get to the bottom of this. He is now 58 days in a Mexican prison. There are 30,000 people. We're 30,000 people shy from 100,000 signatures at the whitehouse.gov. And I'll tell you why nobody's signing up for whitehouse.gov. Anybody who cares about this knows that whitehouse.gov is nothing but a marketing thing. They're just collecting names and the data on you so they can market to you and your family for the rest of your lives. That's all that is. That's not they don't really care about you and what your what your real idea is. By the way, isn't that why we elect representatives? What is that?
I will say though, I haven't been marketed by to me yet. They haven't marketed to me, and I signed up because I wanted to sign that petition.
Well, they may not be marketing to you. They just may be tracking you now.
Well, that could be too.
Yeah, and that's the other reason why I don't think I don't trust.
But they were doing that already, so yeah, I figured, what the heck?
I don't trust any of these people. I really don't. I don't trust anybody in the government to have any of my information.
It's only 29,000 away though from him having to say something about it. I would like. I just love to hear.
Here's what
I know what he'll say.
You'd love to hear what he says. I'm outraged by this. I won't rest. I just found out about this. I saw this news. I found out when the rest of the country found out about this. I was watching the news, and thank goodness some people brought that to my attention, and I'm outraged by this. And I won't rest. I'm not going to rest until this is. I'm not going to rest.
On the other hand, I think the other potentiality is that he says we have to allow the Mexican justice system to proceed.
Yeah, I actually would assume he wouldn't say.
He might say that.
Yeah, he might say, "Look, this guy went across the border with guns."
Right.
And
well, that's a really hard thing for him to say because so did Eric Holder.
Yeah, I know, but what does he care? He just denies that.
You're right.
So.
Okay, so we need another 29,000 signatures at whitehouse.gov so the president can say he won't rest, and he at least has to go on it. But please pray for him. Please pray for Tamarisi and for a miracle to happen. This guy is unjustly thrown in one of the worst Mexican prisons, and he didn't try to get across the border. He made a mistake. He made one wrong turn and ended up in the border crossing lane. He asked to turn around. He was living in his car. He had everything in his car, including his properly registered and licensed guns. And because he was in that lane, they put him in prison. He's now facing, 21 or 29 years. It's an outrage. It's an outrage. But I contend that we are becoming we're becoming worse than the 1960s Americans that at least stood up against the war. They at least stood up against the war. They at least called our military baby killers. They at least took the time to spit on them. I know that sounds crazy.
Yeah, but at least they showed some emotion.
At least they showed some emotion.
We don't even know the wars are going on anymore.
Yeah, you're like, oh, is that war still going on?
It's interesting because it's not reported anymore. Ever since Obama took office, remember the daily updates on the dead and injured?
Yeah.
Daily. Now you don't hear about it ever.
At all.
You don't even know there is a war in Afghanistan
anymore. And so people honestly, we're raising a group of people that will not, they've never known the United States out of war. If your kids are 10 years old, 14? Yeah, almost 14 years old. If your kids are 13 years old, they have never lived in an America that hasn't been at war. Think of that. And it's not like World War II, where it consumed us. And by the way, World War II started in 41, over in 45. Think of that one. What are we doing?
That was like an acute war. This is a chronic war.
Yeah.
It's like acute pain or chronic pain. So you don't pay attention to it as much.
It just becomes this. You have something to share with the class? I mean,
no, this is Pat using his life experience to explain things to people.
Right now I have both, so it's not a very good analogy for me.
Let me just say this. The president needs to get on TV and point to the smiley faces and say, which one are you? Right now. All right, so we have that going on with Tamarisi, and nobody really seems to care. And then the VA. The VA is one of the worst things. Again, at least the 60s generation took the time to care enough to spit on our soldiers. We just look the other way. The latest from the VA, this is such an outrage. The latest from the VA is, when questioned, they said there are no secret books. There are no secret books. We're not keeping things secret from people. There's here's what the accusation is. You go in, and if you're really, really sick, they're not going to get their bonus because they can't cure you. They can't really help you. And so what they do is they put you in a different line. And they only cover the guys who are in that are curable and that, have a meaningful life ahead of them. If that's not you, what they do is they write it down in another book, and they actually, with pencil, write it down in another book, and then say, in 30 days, enter this into the computer. So you're waiting sometimes 75 days, but to the computer, it doesn't look like that because, they've held you off the books for 30 days or 45 days or sometimes 60 days. And they just keep it. And then they're just watching the books that they write in pencil. And then when that time is gone, then they put you into the computer. And their excuse was, well, we don't have enough resources.
What?
I don't accept that.
You don't have enough resources to put things in a computer?
No,
you need a bigger hard drive?
No, that's separate. They don't have enough resources to be able to take care of all of the people that. That's isn't that good? We should ration it then, because once there's a shortage, you have to ration. Oh, that's what they're doing. So then, what they say is, and this is a quote: "They're not secret books. They're just handwritten books kept aside from the computer logs."
I get it now.
I was telling the IRS that the other day. I don't have another set of books. They're not secret. I'm not hiding them from you. I'm just keeping a separate handwritten book
of income that you have?
Of income that I have, and another book that are separate from the computer files that you have requested. What?
I'm sure they'd accept that.
Of course they'd accept that.
That would be fine.
These are all the same strategies used by the UK, by the way, in their government-run healthcare system.
Yep.
You
we probably
pointed
learned
out
it from
in,
them.
Arguing with idiots. And they would do things like this. They would book appointments without telling the people that they had appointments. Then they would wait till the day before to call them to alert them about the appointments. So then they, of course, couldn't make the appointment, and then it was their fault. It wasn't that they couldn't see them. It was their fault because they didn't show up for the appointment and had to reschedule it. So they'd have this way of getting around all of these little guidelines that they had. It's the exact same thing. And how long have you been warning that the UK and Europe are just a little bit the same road, just a little bit ahead of us? I mean,
here we are.
We're learning from their leadership.
And so here's the thing. When it's all happening to us, are we even going to care? And will there be anybody around to even listen to us anymore? Because if we're not taking care of our heroes,